opportunity to come and speak with you all today on Native American Fish Wildlife Society. Just wanted to provide a couple of slides just as an intro, and then what I'm going to do is hand it off to our invasive species technician, Thomas Hafen, who takes the lead on the Pacific and Alaska regions to talk a little bit more in depth at some of the items that are being presented in the Pacific region there. So Native American Fish Wildlife Society, I'll be referring to as NAFWS through the presentation. Our mission is to assist Native American and Alaska Native tribes with the conservation, protection, and enhancement of their fish and wildlife resources. As you know, we are a national organization, so we're spread out through 7 different regions, and we are tasked with undertaking these regions through 4 staff members, which I'll explain a little bit more as we go. There are a couple of different membership options. There's a membership tribe option, which the tribes can come into the program with it, but we really push the individual membership for our tribal managers and other associates, because there are benefits to becoming a member of NAFWS. Some of those memberships are you get a quarterly newsletter, you get direct technical assistance, you have voting privileges at national and regional conferences. There's reduced cost for conferences, as well as reduced or even free opportunities for training. And one of our newest benefits is access to the National Conservation Training Center's library for all of those journals that sometimes cost quite a bit to get an access to an article. One of the perks with becoming a member with NAFWS is that you can access that library. We have multiple opportunities throughout the whole group of NAFWS. You can find all of our announcements here at www.nafws.org/events training. And some of the items I'll mention at the end that we're promoting, I'll mention as we go towards the rest of the presentation. But I just wanted to introduce some of our, well, actually introduce all of our staff. This is our NAFWS administration. We got Dr. Julie Thorstenson, who is our executive director, Heidi McCann, who is our membership engagement and boards affairs director, Judith McKenna, who is our executive assistant, and Gwen Lassen, who is our communications director. We also have a very big, substantial education program that increases Native American youth, natives, and Alaska Native youth in opportunities. There's summer youth practicums, internships, scholarships, professional development webinars, any opportunity to promote tribal fish and wildlife resource conservation. That's what the education program is all about. And that's led by Ashley Mueller, who is our executive coordinator and currently our assisting deputy executive director, excuse me. We have a bio team that consists of Laurel James, who's our director, Sean Cross, who is one of our fish and wildlife biologists, very, very instrumental in the fisheries side of things. We got Emily Hagler, who is our tribal mapping analyst, Shaylin Wickman, who was our wildlife connectivity coordinator, Hannah Golden, who is our fish and wildlife biologist, who is devoted to a lot of biodiversity issues, and then Caitlin Damaski, who is our fish and wildlife biologist for the Alaska area. We also have a grants program led by Megan Hawkins, who's the director of operations. And then we have 2 grants field liaisons officers, Andy Edwards and Katie Schultz, who are there to help with grant programs and grant opportunities. We also have an Alaska Liaisons program with Lori Pedorowski and Geraldine Kelly and Jolyn Arlie. Then I'd like to introduce the Native American invasive species program. We've got Annette Bravo, who is the lead of the Great Plains and the Southwest regions. Thomas Hafen, who you'll hear a little bit more of in a few moments over the Pacific and Great Lakes region. Pacific and Alaska regions. Wade Ryder, who is over the Great Lakes and the Northeast regions, and I myself here in Mississippi, in charge of the Southeast regions. We also have a invasive species program plan, which is 8 main goals that involve collaboration, coordination, ensuring proper IDs if that's the task, promoting early detection and rapid response, minimizing prevention for invasive species spread, developing peer-led trainings, coordinating experts, improving data management, and promoting restoration. Our plan is multifaceted to meet tribes where they are. We understand that there are multiple tribes that have been dealing with invasive species issues for eons, so that they may be a little bit more advanced in some of their programming, where we have other tribes that are on the other side of the spectrum that are just now beginning entering into invasive species programs through environmental programs, or even beginning the creation of wildlife programs in general. Much of our planning is tribal need driven. So we engage with our tribes and tribal managers to find out what that need is. Is it training? Is it assistance? Is it resources? Those types of items. So those are some of the things that are within our plan. This is a working document with annual reviews, and it's created for long-term sustainable invasive species management. It's not meant to reinvent the wheels, and it promotes the expansion of tribal capacities. That is probably one of our biggest goals, is to help with tribal capacity and help tribes build expertise within their programs. Some of the quick things I want to promote a little bit before I hand it over to Thomas is our national conference, which is coming up in a few weeks. It will be in Riverton, Wyoming, and sponsored by the Great Plains regions, hosted by the Eastern Shoshone and Northern Arapaho tribes. All of that information currently is open on our events page if you're interested in any of that. We will also be kicking off our regional conferences, and so that'll take us throughout the rest of the year. A lot of that will be different timings of the months. So just check out those events pages to see when those are. Also just want to put a plug in for the Wildlife Stewardship Tribal Lands booklet that's out there. It has been authored by many of the NAFWS staff, as well as many of our tribal NAFWS members, and a great resource in wildlife stewardship on tribal lands in general. I wanted to throw our plug in for our questionnaire link here, QR code here, and website here, if you would like to share some of the information about your programming, just to help guide us in some of our thoughts of how to develop some of our training opportunities, developing on some of the other opportunities out there that we have. And then, of course, we are on social media. You can see any of the opportunities that we are sharing at any of these sources. So get tagged in, join us. And with that, Thomas, if you want to take yourself off of mute, and I'll turn it over to you for your introduction and the rest of the presentation.
Thanks so much, Mitzi. Yes. As Mitzi mentioned, I'm Thomas Hafen. I am currently living in Portland, Oregon, and I've been working in the Pacific area as well as Alaska. For our region, the Pacific area covers the northern part of California, Oregon, Washington, the northern part of Nevada, and Idaho. And a lot of the work that I do and that all of our team does is we try and find how we can help different tribes, and we try and support the tribes and their needs. We do that through engagement. We try and reach out to as many tribes as we can and figure out what their needs are, and then base our content and what we do off of their needs. This includes workshops, We recently did a workshop last year, sort of based off of those things that tribes are looking for. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next slide. As Mitzi mentioned too, we do conferences. We have our national conference coming up, and then we have our specific regional conferences that are more based on the needs of the different regions. You know, Pacific region has quite different needs than the Southeast region, so that's sort of why we have these regions and do conferences there. It's a great chance to network and figure out what other tribes are doing and how different tribes can help each other, and also how we can support tribes like tribes and their needs as well. We also do site visits. This is a great chance for us to get to know tribes better, to figure out what they need and how we might be able to help them. And then technical assistance is along those same lines, where we're honestly just trying to support tribes and being able to help them in their fish and wildlife needs. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, we recently did a workshop. This is in East California near Clearwater, and we partnered with Robinson Rancheria and the Hafen tribe of Pomo Indians. And this was a really great workshop. We focused a lot on Himalayan blackberry, aquatic primrose, and invasive carp. Here you can see in the picture, we are working on getting rid of aquatic primrose in Clear Lake itself, which was a lot of work and a lot of fun. You can see Clear Lake in the background, and then in the foreground, of course, there's Himalayan blackberry. This was a big problem that a lot of tribes are dealing with, especially in the Northern California area, and we focused on that. We talked a lot about how to manage for Himalayan blackberry, and then the importance also of monitoring and the persistence for doing that. And then the next day, we worked on Asian carp management. Clear Lake has a pretty big invasive carp problem, and we went out and shocked with them and worked with other tribes too to try and help get them exposed to what exactly Robinson Rancheria are doing and how they're working to get rid of these invasive carp. They've put trackers and pit tags in carp to look for where they're spawning, and then targeted these carp in that way by shocking as well as netting. So these workshops are catered to the needs of tribes in specific regions, and that's what we're trying to do is just figure out how we can help these tribes in specific regions and help them improve their invasive species management techniques and their programs. Yeah, so I want to talk about a few invasive species that a lot of tribes have either mentioned that they're dealing with, or that are potentially coming into the scene soon. So the first one is emerald ash borer. There really hasn't been, as of yet, any, I guess, issues with tribes so far, but it is here and it's coming. The Midwest 20 or so years ago was a big problem. And sadly enough, it's come west too. It was first found in Forest Grove, Oregon in 2022. So the red boundary on this map in Oregon is the quarantine zone where no wood is allowed to come out at all here. Laurel talked a little bit about that, where yeah, moving wood can be very detrimental in the spread of invasive species and pests. So this red area is the quarantine zone. The yellow is the 25-mile radius of these emerald ash borer encounters. And the red points are in the circle is where emerald ash borer has been positively identified. First, it was in the top left one, or the northwest one, and it's spread since 2022. It's definitely spreading, and will likely spread throughout Oregon, Washington, and other areas down the road in a couple years or so. So ODFW and the Oregon Department of Agriculture have been working to manage for emerald ash borer. They've done a lot of different methods. They've learned a lot from people from the Midwest have come and talked a lot to them about what they've done and what's helped. They have already implemented some biological controls. So they're working hard to manage for the emerald ash borer invasion already. There's a lot of great information out there if you're interested in working on potentially early detection, rapid response for these species. You feel free to reach out to any one of us too if you have any questions or if you're looking for any more information. We'd be more than happy to give you any resources that you might be looking for. Himalayan blackberry, of course, a lot of tribes. This might be the most the topic that's talked about most when I ask people about invasive species. And the problem with Himalayan blackberry is that it becomes a monoculture. It outcompetes native riparian plants and even not riparian and even non-riparian areas. I live in Portland, Oregon, and I go on a walk and I can find it almost anywhere I go. And it just creates thick brambles, shades out other native plants, and outcompetes them. Um, a lot of management techniques that a lot of tribes have done, and then other management agencies is they first remove the ground portion and then remove the root system. They remove the root system with like shovels and Pulaskis and like rototiller type stuff as well. And another key factor with Himalayan blackberry and honestly any invasive species is persistence as well as monitoring. You can't just go and remove it one season and then expect it to be eradicated forever. Going back every season and keep continuing to remove these species is really important. So another hot topic for the Pacific area is the invasive mussels. We have your quagga mussels, zebra mussels, and recently found, I think in the Sacramento area, the golden mussels. And really the key to this is prevention. I'm sure all of you know the clean, drain, dry method. Quite a few tribes that I've talked to use this. They have stations in their waterways on tribal lands, like lakes and rivers, where they spray off boats and use this clean, drain, dry method to prevent these invasive mussels. Where if they do become established in these areas, it costs millions and billions of dollars to work with them, to get them cleaned off, and there's really no way to eradicate these species. So prevention is so important with this, and stopping aquatic hitchhikers is really important too. So Scotch broom is another species that I talk about a lot with tribes. Scotch broom can grow, it seems like in almost any environment, and they grow so fast and they they can spread out so quickly. It's really hard to get rid of them too. One topic that, or one, I guess, fact of I hear about Scotch broom a lot is they can stay viable for up to 80 years. The seeds can, which is really scary. And I think that just proves the point of the importance of, managing for it and getting rid of it before it becomes a big problem, like in this picture here. Um, to management, there's a wide variety of ways to manage it. I think it all depends on your preference and how you want to deal with it. Includes cutting, removal, you can pair it with herbicides, and that can be effective. And it requires multiple treatments over years too. Getting rid of that. The seed bank is really important for Scotch broom, and just being persistent with it and continuing to monitor those areas to get rid of Scotch broom is really vital. And then reed canary grass. This is another hot topic. It invades are typically riparian areas and just spreads so quickly and outcompetes other native riparian plants so easily. It also creates that dense monoculture that can choke out streams as well, and increases sediment deposition in those streams. It reproduces in a variety of different ways from the seed, stem fragments, and rhizomes. Management, you can mow it. You can also cut it, burn it, excavate it, use herbicide if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, once again, persistence is so important with reed canary grass too. All right, this is my last slide. So we're having a future workshop on July 8th and 9th. It's focused on European green crab, and we're working with the Shoalwater Bay tribe, and we do have travel assistance available. So if you're interested, feel free to reach out, and that's all I have. Thank you so much.